Hey, yeah, it's working. Okay, good. I had a nightmare. I mean, it was a nightmare scenario. All this has, I think, in the last, I think since the beginning of this live stream, this has never ever happened. Like, I've cancelled live streams, but I've never actually started 6 minutes delayed. So everything has a first, I suppose. Uh, Thank you everyone for waiting patiently. Thank you to all the people in the live chat right now for waiting. The live stream was delayed because the mic was suddenly not picking up, and I had to restart my computer 3 times in order for something to work. I still don't know what I did right, but apparently it works. Let me know if the audio and the video are okay. If they're not, I may still have done something wrong. But hello, welcome to the live stream. This happens on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. On Wednesdays, that is today, I only read live chat comments and try my best to answer whatever people ask. And on Saturdays, we take some callers face to face, although that is getting more and more tedious with each passing day. So I suppose uh, you'll be seeing more of this in the coming days. I've also been wondering if I should do live streams, like, not chatting live streams but topical live streams on my main channel, but I suppose that I will only start doing after this channel stops, which may not be for months or a couple of years. So yes, thank you Richie, thank you Blue Panther for letting me know that the audio video is all okay, much appreciated. And hello, if you want to support this channel, you can click the join button below and become a member. I'm an independent content creator, and any contribution you make helps me buy books, software, and pay bills. So thanks in advance. Wait, where's the ticker? There is also merch like t-shirts, etc., that you can buy at kadakmerch.com/vimo live. You can also support this channel at Patreon at patreon.com/vimo, or you can simply go to my blog at vimo.stck.me and make a one-time contribution by clicking the support button there. And that would be it for the formalities. Let me take a look at the first comment. I'm feeling a little jittery because I feel like I'm behind schedule, which I am, but it shouldn't be that big of a matter. What's your opinion on Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar saying Hanuman and Krishna being great diplomats? To what extent we should use fictional characters to address real world politics? I suppose there is no harm in it, but I fail to see how Hanuman and Krishna were. Acha, okay. So Hanuman went over to Sugriv and negotiated the joining forces with Rama and Lakshman. And Krishna went to Duryodhan, and Duryodhan didn't listen to him, so he uh, I mean, got angry or something. No, he did promise Duryodhan that he will give him access to his Narayani Sena. So I suppose that's negotiation of a sort. But yeah, fictional characters, as this is not simply a minister using a fictional character as a metaphor, right? This is a minister in a Hindu nationalist government using Hindu gods to make a point about foreign relations. We need to look at it in its full form, not just a guy saying something about some fictional characters. It's more insidious than that. Let's just let's just say it because we all know what it is. Hello to everyone who's saying hi. Joy Boy says Vemo's internet connection hijacked by aliens. No, this is a hologram. All that you're seeing around me, this is a hologram. This is virtual reality. The true location of where I am and what I look like is on the thumbnail of this video. Uh, लक्ष्य शर्मा says hi everyone new to the ये इंटेलेक्चुअल कम्युनिटी लगता है तुम्हें, मुझे लगता है हम लोग सब गाते हैं, हमें कुछ नहीं पता. ब्लू पैंथर says आपके इंस्टाग्राम पे जो आप छोटे छोटे मैसेजेस लिखते हो उनके शॉर्ट वीडियोस भी बनाओ, आपको सुनना अच्छा लगता है. हाँ, उनके शॉर्ट्स बनाने पड़ेंगे अब तो यूट्यूब पे, क्योंकि इंस्टाग्राम बहुत अजीबोगरीब प्लेटफॉर्म हो गया है. कल मैंने एक पोस्ट किया था, वी नीड टू सी इविल, एंड आज मुझे इंस्टाग्राम से मैसेज आया लॉगिन करने पे वेब पे कि दैट पोस्ट हैज़ बीन मार्क्ड एज हेटफुल कॉन्डक्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर गाइडलाइंस. नाउ इंस्टाग्राम पे हेटफुल कॉन्डक्ट की कोई कमी नहीं है, पर जब उसको रिपोर्ट करोगे तो तुम्हें घंटा मिलेगा, क्योंकि वो लोग कुछ भी नहीं करते. और जब उस हेटफुल कंटेंट के बारे में कोई लिखता है तो वो अचानक हेटफुल कंटेंट हो जाता है. सो इंस्टाग्राम इज फुल ऑन संघी एट दिस पॉइंट. इंस्टाग्राम इज फुल ऑन अ संघी प्लेटफॉर्म which has no regard for the social realities being communicated to a mass audience by its users. मैं अकेला नहीं हूँ, ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो कि एक्चुअली अच्छा कंटेंट बनाना चाहते हैं सोशल जस्टिस टॉपिक्स के ऊपर, पर इंस्टाग्राम फ्रेंडली नहीं है उनके लिए। इंस्टाग्राम पे या तो तुम नंगी-पुंगी फ़ोटो डाल लो या तो हेट स्पीच डालो और इंस्टाग्राम को उससे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। पर जब हेट स्पीच के बारे में कोई लिखेगा कि ये हेट स्पीच है, तब इंस्टाग्राम को बहुत बदहज़मी हो जाती है। सो इंस्टाग्राम पे ये सब डालना मुश्किल हो जाता है। कुछ और क्रिएटर्स ने भी कहा है कि उन्होंने इंस्टाग्राम पे एंगेजमेंट कम कर दिया है, क्योंकि उनको डर है कि उनका अकाउंट डिलीट हो जाएगा। मतलब सोचो, हेट स्पीच जितना डालना है डालो, इंस्टाग्राम को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। हेट स्पीच के बारे में लिखोगे, तो तुम्हारा अकाउंट डिलीट हो सकता है। फेसबुक एक वाहियात प्लेटफ़ॉर्म है, जिसको चलाने वाले लोग घटिया लोग हैं और उन्होंने अपने हाथों को या तो उनके हाथ पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ के पॉकेट में है या पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ के हाथ उनके पॉकेट में है। कुछ तो चल रहा है और इस बारे में पहले भी काफ़ी रिपोर्ट्स आ चुकी हैं। सो इंस्टाग्राम पे जो छोटे-छोटे कंटेंट डालता हूँ ना, इट वुड बी बेटर इफ यू गाइस जस्ट वेंट टू माय ब्लॉग एंड सब्सक्राइब टू इट। Create a Stack account, go to stck.me and create an account, then go to vimoh.stck.me and follow me. मैं वहाँ पे अपना लिख जितना राइटिंग है वो सब डालता हूँ, तुमको ईमेल से मिल जाएगा सब कुछ। पहले न्यूज़लेटर चलाता था पर सबस्टैक में भी काफ़ी प्रॉब्लम्स आ गई है आजकल, बट वी शैल सी। Zia says, "Hey Vimo, hope you're doing well. Nice to be able to join the live stream after a long time. Thank you, Zia, for joining. Much appreciated." Joy Boy says, "I'm not even sure if he thinks of them as fictional characters or historical figures, but statements like these from persons like him kind of reinforces religiosity in Indian public." Yeah, it does. And I don't think S. Jaishankar is a religious bigot, but he's definitely a minister in the BJP government, and he does have to toe the line laid down by the government. So he does stuff like this. Vairu says, "Did you follow the same-sex marriage hearing?" Kind of. Yeah, I did. I did. Sudarshan says, "Did you watch Kantara movie? What's your opinion? People are believing in such gods." No, I have not seen the movie yet. Lakshya says, "You and Pranav, Science is Dope, saved my life by removing many false and limiting beliefs, Vimo. Feeling emancipated. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." That's very good to hear, Lakshya. I'm glad, but I don't think we deserve the credit for it. Our content is seen by many people who don't change. The fact that you changed has more to do with you than it does with us. We will keep putting out stuff that we think is deserves to be put out, but not many people will change their mind. The fact that you changed your mind is credit to you. Thank you for doing so, and thank you for saying this. Rajam says, "Are you aware of your body?" Why? Are you not aware of my body? My body is right here in front of you. What kind of stupid question is this? By the way, don't try to do this. I am leading you to wisdom through small questions. Just make the whole point in one comment. Are you aware of your body is going to get you answers that says, "Yeah, I am. I think I'm aware of my body." Newski says, "Vimo, do you have any research paper to prove to make mudra of Namaste will not centralized and neutralize the mind or any other that had something on the what? What are you asking? Research paper to prove that mudra of Namaste will not be central. So that is not how proof or evidence works. The person who makes the claim has to give the evidence. For example, I don't have any research papers to prove that dragons don't exist, but I don't have to prove it because the claim that dragons exist, whoever is making that claim, they have to prove that dragons exist. So, research paper to prove that something is not true is not the way to go about it. Whoever is making a claim needs to come up with the evidence for it. And then other people can evaluate that evidence and see if they're right. अपेक्षित ने व्योमानिक करके कुछ लिखा ये क्या है ओके Ankit says, "I am as intellectual as BJP is non-religious." Yeah, that's what I think about myself also. K says, "Hello, Vimo, new videos on writing. When will keep reminding." Yeah, please keep reminding. Next video on the writing channel, I suppose I will do a case study of how I generate a chapter of Bhumi's End, like how writers can better use AI to create content faster or even brainstorm ideas and come up with chapter outlines and stuff. Although Bhumi's End, I'm writing something called Bhumi's End. It is an experiment that I'm running about writing with AI. The chapters are written by AI, but they're directed by me. So I'm basically talking with ChatGPT and I'm telling it the chapter outline, the characters, asking it to generate scenes, copy pasting the scenes, then editing the scenes to give the chapter some kind of coherence. That is what I'm doing there. If you want, you can follow it at Loregate. Loregate, LOREGATE .stck.me. Newski says, "My physics teacher claims that Namaste Mudra gives peace to mind, and when I asked about any research had done, he asked to give him source about this." मतलब fact भी हम ही दें. ये तुम्हारा काम नहीं है। तुम्हारे फिज़िक्स टीचर को शर्म आनी चाहिए अपने बच्चों को ऐसी चीज़ें सिखाते हुए। तुम्हारे फिज़िक्स टीचर का काम है कि अगर वो कोई क्लेम करते हैं, तो उनको एविडेंस दिखाना है। इफ ही और शी और दे आर सेइंग दैट नमस्ते मुद्रा गिव्स पीस ऑफ माइंड, दे आर द वन्स हू नीड टू प्रोवाइड एविडेंस फॉर इट। खाली बोल देने से तो नहीं हो जाता ना। तुम भी बोल दोगे कि नमस्ते करने से बदहज़मी बढ़ती है और फिर वो पूछेंगे, "प्रूफ़ दिखा?" तुम बोलोगे, "क्या तुम प्रूफ़ दिखा सकते हो कि बदहज़मी नहीं बढ़ती है?" ऐसे थोड़ी चलता है। शर्म आनी चाहिए ऐसे टीचरों को। स्कूल में बकवास पेलते हैं बच्चों के सामने। Vimoh mispronounced correctly. Political potty, political potties. Zia says, "Is the thumbnail a reference to Star Trek, Vimoh, or just a random sci-fi character image? Looking great with that headgear. Canva, right? Canva, the graphics making thing, now has AI inside it. So you can import a picture of yours, erase your head, right, like this, erase this part, and then type sci-fi helmet or sci-fi helmet, sci-fi metallic helmet, comma, extremely detailed and realistic, futuristic sci-fi helmet or something like this, and click generate. It will put a helmet on you. I erased the entire background also, and I typed futuristic science fiction spaceship interior, and it created that. So that entire thing was Canva. मैं thumbnail बना रहा था, मैंने सोचा क्यों ना एआई का इस्तेमाल करके देखा जाए, तो ये बन गया। बहुत कुछ किया जा सकता है उसके थ्रू, पर द नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स यू कैन प्रॉम्प्ट एवरी डे इज काइंड ऑफ लिमिटेड, लाइक 10 or 20 prompts, I think. Wairu says, is it Instagram or the brigading and mass reporting that the right wing does? Well, Instagram is supposed to be taking care of that, right? If someone is brigading and mass reporting on your platform and it is only going one way, then obviously people are going to be suspicious. And there have been reports of Facebook employees being BJP supporters, and Facebook uh, managerial positions inside Facebook being taken over by people who refuse to remove hate speeches from Facebook because they say it will affect their relationship with the government. इसके बारे में 2 साल पहले न्यूज़ रिपोर्ट आई थी। फेसबुक एक वाहियात और घटिया प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसको संघी चला रहे हैं। न्यूज़ की says, do you have any research paper that prove that make mudra, अरे ये क्या है? फिर से वही सवाल। Sudarshan says, how to escape from highly religious, superstitious, toxic family. If you have money, you can, go live elsewhere, get a job. If you don't engage with them as far as possible and work towards a future when you don't have to live with them, if they're affecting your life to that degree. And if they're not affecting your life to that degree, try to find some kind of a compromise. Make clear that this is your position and that you don't agree with their position. You will not impose your views on them as long as they don't impose their view on you. Simple. Draw a line. Amit says, we typically don't write papers to prove negatives. The burden of proof rests with the claimant. Yeah, exactly. Deepak Bodh, hi Deepak. Great. Deepak makes great content on Instagram. Please follow him. Deepak, feel free to share your हैंडल। लिंक तो नहीं आएगा चैट में, पर इंस्टाग्राम हैंडल अपना डाल सकते हो, लोग फॉलो कर लेंगे। हैंड पिंक वेविंग, ओके, इमोजी है। Wairu says, it is not up to us to disprove every claim. The person claiming needs to provide evidence. Teach your teacher how science works. Yeah, teach your physics teacher how science works. क्योंकि apparently he doesn't understand this. Richie says you should put your UPI ID in the description also. Richie, अभी recently कुछ scams हो रहे हैं. Like people will send you money by UPI and then a police station will from Gujarat will call you saying that suspicious activity has been noted on your account, so your account is getting blocked. So I will request everyone to not send me money on UPI. Use the methods that I have shown. Click the join button on YouTube, click Patreon, click other sources, click my blog page support button. Don't use UPI. The number of scams, the number of kinds of scams in this country being run from certain parts of the country are really crossing the line these days. And if my YouTube channel goes, I can survive. If my bank account goes, where will I go? So don't send me money by UPI. Just use the methods that I'm showing. I know a part of it will go to the platform, but that's okay. The risk with UPI is kind of too big. Surya says, hi Vimoh, just joined. How's your day? Hi Surya, day's going well, I suppose. I hope your day has also been well. Like my day is going as well as it can go in times like this, but thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Laksha says, I think law of attraction was the biggest scam of the century. It misled people like crazy. People quit jobs to get into new age spirituality. What are your thoughts, Vimo? I don't think law of attraction was the biggest scam of the century. I think it was a very effective scam. Mostly took off in America, but as usual, पूरी दुनिया में धूम मचाने के बाद चीज़ें भारत में आती हैं और अब यहाँ मैनिफेस्टिंग वगैरह का थोड़ा फैड चल निकला है। और चूंकि हम लोग मतलब यहाँ का डिफ़ॉल्ट कल्चरल मेजोरिटेरियन कल्चरल स्ट्रेन हिंदू है, यहाँ भी लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन को थोड़ा हिंदू कलर्स में पेंट करके बेचा जा रहा है। इंस्टाग्राम पे जो 8 दर्जन फेंकू अकाउंट हैं, जो कि कुछ भी पेल रहे हैं, अंधविश्वास, बकवास पेल रहे हैं, ये बोल के कि क्या आपको पता है साइंस इसके बारे में क्या कहता है? जिसमें साइंस का दूर-दूर तक उसके साथ कोई रिश्ता नहीं होता। सो या लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन वाज़ प्रॉब्लमैटिक, बट लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन का जो फाउंडेशन है, जिस प्रकार की बकवास उसका फाउंडेशन है, वो बकवास हर जगह फैली हुई है, इंक्लूडिंग धर्मों के अंदर। व्हाट इज़ प्रेयर इफ नॉट लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन? Rajam says, "What more books do you recommend beside Amazon book list? I would like more books on philosophy or religion. Whatever books I have to recommend, I put on the Amazon list, and whatever books I have to recommend in the future, I will also put on the Amazon list. So please keep following that list, so you find out whatever I recommend." Charvak is here. Hi, Charvak. Hello. How are you? Thank you. I'm good, Charvak. Thank you for asking. Sudarshan says, "Suggest some best books for a beginner to improve thinking skills and better debate skills." I don't know. I don't think debate skills will improve by reading books. I think debate skills will improve by doing debates. Always, I always tell people that doing is doing, thinking is not doing. If you want to improve your writing, write. If you want to improve your running, run. If you want to improve your fighting, actually fight. It's always about doing. It's never, it's almost like writing is wetting your appetite. Like तुम्हारे घर में कभी कुछ स्पेशल डिश बनता है, राइट, जो तुम लंच में खाने वाले हो, तो जब बनता है थोड़ा सा तुम्हारी मम्मी एक पेपर पे रख के तुमको देती है ना, एपेटाइजर। या सो राइटिंग इज मोस्टली एपेटाइजिंग इट। An in-depth book can give you facts, but nothing is a replacement for actual doing things. So if you are trying to better your debate skills, engage in conversations with people. That is the best thing. I'm not saying books are not important, but I, off the top of my head, cannot think of a book about debating. ब्लू पैंथर से हमारे कल्चर में क्वेश्चन पूछने को एनकरेज नहीं करते, सर झुका के मान लो तब ठीक है। नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है ब्लू पैंथर। आई आई थिंक हम लोगों ने अपने कल्चर के सिर्फ उस हिस्से पे फोकस किया है जो कि डिवोशन और ओबीडियंस को ग्लोरीफाई करता है। पर अगर तुम ये जो मिथोलॉजिकल टेक्स्ट हैं उनको भी देखोगे ना, उनमें तुमको बहुत रिबेलियन मिलेगा। विभीषण के बारे में हम बात नहीं करते। विभीषण ने अपने भाई को छोड़ के दुश्मनों को जॉइन किया, क्योंकि उसको लगा कि ये सही नहीं है, ये गलत है। भरत ने अपनी माँ का तिरस्कार किया, क्योंकि उसको लगा कि उसकी माँ ने गलत किया है। मैं कहानी के ओवरऑल कॉन्टेक्स्ट की बात नहीं कर रहा। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि अगर कोई रिबेलियन और डिसोबीडियंस के एग्ज़ाम्पल्स ढूँढना चाहता है, तो हमारे कल्चर में बहुत मिलते हैं। हम एक फ्रीडम फाइट करके आज़ाद हुए थे। दैट वाज़ डेफिनिटली फ्रीडम फाइट। लाइक आजकल ये हो रहा है कि जिन लोगों ने फ्रीडम फाइट में हिस्सा नहीं लिया था, उनके वैल्यूज़ व्हिच इज़ घुटनों के बल खड़े होके सब कुछ मान लेना, को भारतीय संस्कृति बताया जा रहा है। पर ऐसा तो कभी भी नहीं था कि हम लोगों ने ओबीडियंस के अलावा कुछ भी नहीं किया। हमने किया है, हमारे कल्चर का बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा है, और हम, मुझे नहीं लगता कि हमको ये मानना चाहिए कि हमारे कल्चर का वो हिस्सा ही नहीं है। है, बिल्कुल है। आई अंडरस्टैंड द पॉइंट वेयर यू आर कमिंग फ्रॉम, बट मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि आजकल हमारी संस्कृति को जिस लाइट में दिखाया जा रहा है, हमें ये मान नहीं लेना चाहिए कि वो डिफ़ॉल्ट तरीका है। जॉय बॉय सेज़, "ग्लैड आई डिलीटेड माय फेसबुक अकाउंट लॉन्ग टाइम अगो।" सेम हियर। आई एम ओनली ऑन इंस्टाग्राम बिकॉज़ उस पे बहुत सारे फॉलोअर्स हैं, पर एक दिन तंग आके डिलीट कर दूँगा, मुझे लगता है। कुछ भी नहीं रखा उस प्लेटफ़ॉर्म पे। कुछ दिनों पहले किसी ने पॉइंट आउट किया था कि इंस्टाग्राम के बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स फेल हो रहे हैं। इंस्टाग्राम का जो रील वाला एक्सपेरिमेंट है, वो फेल हो रहा है। बाय द वे, यूट्यूब का जो शॉर्ट्स वाला एक्सपेरिमेंट है, वो भी इतना पैसा बनाने में सफल नहीं रहा है, जितना कि यूट्यूब को लगा था कि वो होगा। शॉर्ट्स के ज़रिए पैसा बनाना बहुत मुश्किल है। यूट्यूब इसीलिए पॉडकास्टिंग के अंदर घुस रही है। लॉन्ग फॉर्म वीडियोज़, लाइक 1-1 घंटे के वीडियो, जिसमें कोई एक व्यक्ति बकवास कर रहा होता है, उस टाइप की वीडियोज़ को लोग देखना ज़्यादा पसंद कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि उसपे ज़्यादा एड्स भी आ सकते हैं और यूट्यूब का पैसा भी ज़्यादा बन सकता है। सो शॉर्ट्स के ज़रिए शॉर्ट्स को मोनेटाइज़ करना बहुत ही ज़्यादा मुश्किल साबित हो रहा है, सब प्लेटफ़ॉर्म्स के लिए, इंक्लूडिंग आई थिंक टिकटॉक, जो कि भारत में है ही नहीं। सो इंस्टाग्राम वापस फ़ोटोज़ की तरफ आ रहा है, धीरे-धीरे। देखते हैं क्या होता है। Sudarshan, explain left wing and right wing in simple, easy terms. Okay, why are we asking questions that you can simply get definitions on Google for? Like, don't ask such questions. Okay, fine. जो लोग स्पीकर के लेफ्ट पे बैठते थे, वो लोग प्रोग्रेसिव पॉलिटिक्स को सपोर्ट करते थे। आई थिंक ये फ्रांस में शुरू हुआ, इसीलिए उनको लेफ्ट विंग कहा गया। जो लोग राइट पे बैठते थे, वो रॉयलिस्ट थे, और वो ट्रेडिशन, कल्चर और रॉयल फैमिली को सपोर्ट करते थे, इसलिए उनको राइट विंग कहा गया। Right wing across the world tends to be conservative. There are economic things associated with it that I don't want to go into because you can Google them. But right wing is largely about tradition and culture. Left wing is about progress and independence. Charvak says, please do a live on economics and Marxist viewpoint and Adam Smith viewpoint. I'm not an economist, sir. Why would I do such a live stream and embarrass myself? If I ever do a live stream with an economist, I would definitely, but I don't have expertise in that area. Everyone, please, if you have not liked the video, please do so, and uh, so that YouTube can discover the show. More people on YouTube can find the show. Deepak says, love your accent. Please keep sharing rational. My accent. What is my accent? Yeah. Uh, right. So, Barnali, thank you for the 110 rupees super sticker. Much appreciated. Richie says, I won't be able to become a member, but I can send super chats if I can't. Yeah, yeah. Whatever suits you, sir. You can send super chats here, or you can send, a, if you go to my blog at vimoh.stck.me, there is a support button, which is also a one time contribution button. You can share through that also. UPI, unfortunately, I'm not able to support at this point. I mean, I have UPI, but I don't think I should make much use of it. Hmm. ये क्या है? Amit Matthew, thank you for the $10 super chat. Amit asks, why are some people in India against LGBTQ plus marriage equality? Isn't traditional Indian culture typically accepting of LGBTQ plus relationships? Yeah, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. I don't think we can say that we are not discriminatory towards LGBTQ, but I don't think we can say that it is part of our tradition to discriminate against LGBTQ people. I think it's a mixed bag, and you find people who are, like Devdutt Patnaik is a mythologist. He totally, writes about how there is ample precedent in mythological literature about accepting LGBTQ identities. And then there are people who will say that Hinduism is not discriminatory towards LGBTQ people. And then there are people who are from the Hindutva quarters who will say that, अरे अगर दो आदमी एक साथ सेक्स करने लगे तो मानवता का सफाया हो जाएगा. So it's a mixed bag. It's not very clear why people say these things or why they do these things. And it shouldn't matter. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. So I'm completely in favor of expanding the definition of person to as many living beings as possible. Lakshya, thank you for the 66 rupee ka super sticker. Much appreciated, Lakshya. Uh, थोड़ा बैक जाना पड़ेगा कुछ तो मैंने छोड़ दिए कहाँ गया हाँ सुमन गुप्ता says why BJP is not focusing on Karnataka elections. I think they're going for the post election manipulation. We'll see, I guess. We'll see. Newski says, Vimoh, today when I make portrait of Ambedkar, Periyar, and Karl Marx and stick in classroom, my class teacher suggested me to read Partition of India, and I recommended him to read Riddles in Hinduism. Yeah, good choice. Good choice. Ankit says, right wing logic is if they prove me a hypocrite, then their stupid idea is justified. Yeah, it's binary thinking. It's like creationists, right? When they say ki, evolution is false. And I'm like, A, it is not. And B, even if you prove that evolution is completely wrong, it doesn't prove that your God exists. So they think in binaries most of the time. Like it's either evolution or God. So इनका भी वही है. Either I'm wrong or you're wrong. भैया बहुत सारे possibilities हैं. Maybe you're wrong and I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong and you're right. Maybe we are both wrong, right? Yuski says, let me clear this. We pledge every day to not disrespect teacher, and when we correct them, they feel insulted. Teacher should have scientific temperament at least. Teacher should have common sense. Lakshya says, I found a list of logical fallacies and thinking biases on Wikipedia. It drastically improved my critical thinking. Hmm. Mrityunjay says, do you think a chapter on Aryan migration theory should be taught in schools? I think it already is, no? Aryan migration theory has been part of history books for a long time. And if you're talking about primary schools, including that in the curriculum, then I don't know. I'm not sure if that is already done, but if it isn't, yeah, sure, it should be. There is no reason why it can't be. There is significant historian consensus among historians about the Aryan migration that happened, and it should be taught. Of course, ये सरकार के लक्षण मुझे ठीक नहीं लग रहा है. ये लोग नहीं करेंगे. इनको इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. But whenever a more enlightened government comes to power, it should be one of the first things they do. Wairu says, right-wing Reddit is losing its mind over the statement by the CGI. This after all the big talk on how Hindus are so LGBTQ friendly. It's hilarious. Right-wing Reddit is something that, why are you going there? Why are you going there? Sudarshan says, where is your Amazon list? It's at amazon.in/shop/Vimoh. That's amazon.in/shop/Vimoh. Ajay says, Newski prospect, superstitious science teacher is not a new thing. My science teacher used to believe in black magic. तुम धर्म के अंदर से आदमी को निकाल सकते हो एजुकेशन करके, पर आदमी के अंदर से धर्म नहीं निकाल सकते. Kay says, can you describe what your daily routine is when you're writing a novel or in general? I understand it doesn't have to be the same for everyone, but still it might find it. I'll tell you my daily routine. My daily routine is that I wake up at 5 o'clock. I get ready by 6. I go to my rooftop and I walk for 1 hour, 6 to 7. I come down. By that time, my family has woken up. We make tea. We drink tea together, and then I sit down at work at 8:30 or 9, max to max. I work till 11, and between 9 to 11, I try to write something, either a short story or a chapter or something. And then at 11, my day then goes on. I make salad and eat and all that. The most important thing when you're writing a novel is not that everyone has to write at the same time or even wake up at the same time, but you have to have a bracket of time in your day when you're doing nothing but writing. एंड देन यू हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट दैट टाइम. लाइक बोल दो इस टाइम में मुझे कोई डिस्टर्ब मत करो इन 2 घंटों के लिए. 1 घंटा भी चलेगा पर वो 1 घंटा तुम सिर्फ लिखोगे. नील गेमन हैज अ वेरी नाइस पीस ऑफ एडवाइस. ही सेज योर राइटिंग टाइम शुड बी यू आइदर राइटिंग or not writing, nothing else. You can't watch TV, you can't watch a show, you can't listen to a podcast, anything. You either write or you sit in front of whatever instrument you use to write. That way, you will feel bad when you don't write. And I feel terrible on days when I don't write. So, some time ago, when I was in Mumbai, my routine was that my house was extremely hot. It was impossible to sit there and write. So, at some point of time in the day, I used to get done with work. I used to go to the nearby mall. वहाँ पे एक Baskin Robbins था. Sorry, Baskin Robbins नहीं क्या था वो? Uh, they've shut down. What was it? Some kind of burger shop and cold coffee shop. So I used to sit there and I used to write. वहाँ के वेटर्स को मेरी पहचान हो गई. पूरा 4-5 महीने तक मैं हर रोज जाके बैठ के वहाँ पे बस लिखता था. And it became part of my ritual to write there. And I wrote an entire novel there, which is not published, but I wrote it. Okay. Zia says, hey Vimoh, Islam and Christianity have harsh punishments, including imprisonment and execution for blasphemy. Is there any religious scriptures in Hinduism that prescribes the same, or is it more lenient? I don't think Hinduism has a concept of blasphemy, but there are verses here and there which speak ill of unbelievers and say that they will go to hell if when they die. Rajam says, is Hinduism more open to women or is it oppressive of women? My bad if this question was already asked. I'm tired of people saying it's more open to women. It's so every religion is patriarchal, right? Some religions enforce that patriarchy by telling women that they should not step out of the house and that they should not get educated. Hinduism does not do that. But Hinduism, nevertheless, still prescribes social roles for women and prevents them from aspiring to lives like men. Whatever independence women have in modern India, the source of it is modern culture. It's not any religion at all. Even though most religions, like, you go back a few centuries, you ask a religion about the role of women, they will also say, घर पे रहना चाहिए, खाना बनाना चाहिए, ये सब करना चाहिए, वो सब नहीं करना चाहिए. But now we are in the 21st century, so every religion is bending over backwards, trying to prove, हम लोग तो सैकड़ों साल पहले से feminist थे. You find this in Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism. The modern sensibility is what is guiding people to is what is leading people to try to prove that their religion is also modern. So they'll say हम लोग तो पहले से साइंटिफिक थे, हम लोग तो पहले से फेमिनिस्ट थे. इस बकवास में मत पढ़ो, उनके एक्चुअल टेक्स्ट को पढ़ो, तुमको बहुत सारी बकवास मिलेगी. अभी कुछ दिन पहले ही तुलसीदास के रामायण के बारे में एक पॉइंट आया था जिसके वो लेके बहुत कंट्रोवर्सी हुआ था. मैं उसके अंदर फिर से घुसना नहीं चाहता, बट लुक एट व्हाट तुलसीदास सेड अबाउट वुमेन. Charvak says, we must counter each and every claim by RSS, Hindutva, Sanatani groups. That goes without saying. Apekshit says, while laws are not same for common people and politicians in India, how they escape their crimes when they're in power. it's across the board, not just in India. I'm not saying that we should not do anything about India. I think we should definitely focus on India because we are Indians. But the amount of the kind of role that money plays in destroying social equality is a problem that is visible across the world. Across the world. Even in so-called communist societies like China. I imagine life for a poor person in China is harder than a rich person in China, despite on paper it being an equal society, right? Akash says, I've never used Facebook since 2017. Surya says, what would be your recommendation to develop a good book reading habit? I often find myself feeling sleepy after reading for about 20 minutes. Then every day, reserve 20 minutes. And in those 20 minutes, read. If you read one page, that's okay. If you read 20 pages, that's also okay. The way to, like, I keep telling people this, the way to do something is by doing it, like I said earlier. But if you need help doing it, try turning things into a habit. लाइक यू सेइंग क्या है, मैं मन नहीं करता पढ़ने को कभी-कभी। मुझे ये बताओ तुमको कभी ऐसा मन हुआ है आज ब्रश करने का मन नहीं कर रहा है? नहीं हुआ ना? बिकॉज़ व्हेन यू वेक अप यू हैव बीन प्रोग्राम्ड सिंस चाइल्डहुड टू ब्रश योर टीथ। सो व्हेन यू डोंट ब्रश योर टीथ यू फील बैड, राइट? So the trick is to whatever the thing is that you need to do, turn that into a habit. मुझे सुबह 5 बजे उठना अच्छा नहीं लगता था, पर अब अगर मैं सुबह 5 बज के 15 मिनट पे भी उठता हूँ, तो मुझे बुरा फ़ील होता है। So, turning things into habits by doing them over and over and over again is a great way to do the thing that you want to do. Turn writing into a habit, turn reading into a habit, turn running into a habit if that is the habit that you want to pick up. Rain says, are you a leftist or rational? That's a stupid fucking question. Charwag says, Hindutva claims to support LGBTQ+, but its action does not reflect on what CJI said. Yeah, exactly. I am more interested in what people do than what they say. Uh, Ajay says, Surya, start small, like reading 5 pages with consistency and then increase slowly. Also, the type of book is also important. Check out the books you're interested. Yeah, I think that second part is more important than the first. Maybe you are getting bored because you're reading books that you don't like. Start reading books that you do like. And then if you want, like Ajay has said that you can increase the number of pages. I would say that even if you read just 5 pages a day, that's enough. We should, like, there's this obsession in modern culture, right, with more, higher, better, faster. I think it tends to get a little toxic at a certain point of time. We shouldn't have to, right? It's okay to read 5 pages a day. It's okay to read 1 page a day. As long as you are satisfying yourself, don't feel like you're in a race to improve your number of pages read every day. Just do whatever feels right to you. Ankit says the LGBTQ matter exposed BJP's Hindu is inclusive propaganda, which is only conditional. Yeah. Apurv says, hi Vimoh, what do you do to have fun in free time? Fun in free time? I write. My idea of having fun is writing. It's very useful because uh, I this month, last month, I was trying out a lot of AI tools, if you guys remember, in order to figure out which one I should include into my workflow, and I spent a lot of money on it. So to compensate, I disabled Netflix, Hotstar, and Prime. I still have Hotstar because the payment cycle is not full, but Prime and Netflix are gone now. So I don't get to watch movies. I think I'll renew in a couple of months when my economics has balanced out. But my idea of having fun is reading and writing. So that's what I do. Or recording a podcast or doing a live stream. This is my fun time. I'm one of those people who has managed to turn the things that uh, make him happy into work. So I'm lucky, I guess. Surya, Exodus, Exodus. I love that this joke has been picked up. Thank you, Surya, for the contribution. News case says Aryan migration had teach in class 6 history. Okay. Ankit says Congress seems to have woken up from dreams and improved the social media game. Yeah. More importantly, Congress has gotten more aggressive, which is what I really appreciate. Social media game is never going to make anyone win an election. Never. The BJP did not win purely on the basis of social media, although it did play a huge role in 2014. Uh, but yeah, I like the new aggressive Congress. Like every day they're doing press conferences, Everything that the BJP is saying, that they're giving a rebuttal, and they're bringing issues into the light on their own without the news media picking it up. Even if nobody talks about it, they still do a press conference about it, and they still take it forward. So this is what an opposition is supposed to do. They become more muscular, which is great. um, Lakshya says, what are your thoughts on Shark Tank and the whole entrepreneur culture? I mean, this culture really looks down upon 9 to 5 and small business people. No, entrepreneur culture is not look down upon small business people. The problem with the entrepreneur culture is that the people who are in charge of encouraging, like the judges on that show, they're not very accomplished. They're just rich, and this entire show is a way for them to promote themselves. There have been videos about this on YouTube, like Shark Tank के ऊपर सर्च करोगे तो मिल जाएगा. But entrepreneur culture को encourage करना is a good thing, and the best way to do it is to encourage small and medium sized businesses. सो 9 to 5 के ऊपर तो लुक डाउन मैं भी करता हूँ भैया. क्योंकि आई एम माई सेल्फ अ फ्रीलांसर, एंड आई हैव अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम विद पीपल बीइंग. My point is that we should not aim for a culture where being employable, quote unquote, is a virtue. क्योंकि when someone says I'm proud to be employable, what he's basically saying कि जब मेरे को कोई देखता है ना, तो उसको मन में एक ही सवाल आता है, एक ही चीज़ आता है, और वो है, ये मस्त नौकर बनेगा. I understand that it is not everyone's cup of tea to start a business, but we should not make the jobber, the ideal for everyone. I think more people should start things on their own. Apurv says, also, what do you think about the caste census and its ramifications? What if it turns out 70% is Bahujan? That would be amazing. But top positions are almost always Savarna. It will lead to some protests, etc. Yeah, it should, right? The whole point of the caste census is to destroy this illusion of a Hindu majority country. That is the point. If it turns out that 70% are Bahujan, we might actually get governments that make policies based on that realization. For a long time, Hindus have been allowed to get away with painting the entire country and all of its culture using the Brahminical paint. If this caste census comes out and it turns out that that is not the case, it can only be a good thing for India. Surya says, so it's about the ambience that helps us write. I often listen to music that facilitates the mood of the content I'm writing. Yeah, that's a good thing, but sometimes it also gets in the way. Like, if you are clear about the tone of a chapter, like it's going to be war, this entire chapter is going to be war, right? Battle music works. But in most cases, that is not the case. Because in the middle of the battle scene, you are going to have a conversation that is not about the battle. And if the music has already put you in a battle mode, you're going to make that conversation very badly. That's not a word, but you get my point. So sometimes I like to play music, sometimes I try to write in complete silence. But yeah, music does help. Bernali says, will population crash by 2100 be a matter of concern? I don't even know what population crash means. We don't have a population problem. I've said this before. We do not have a population problem. We have a wealth distribution problem. There is plenty of resources for everyone. The reason there is poverty is because most of the resources are in the hands of very few people. Wealth redistribution is going to get rid of the population problem, which is not even a problem. It's just people, people are everywhere, resources are everywhere, but some people are holding on to most of the resources, and most of the people are having to work for them. Optimistic Nihilist says, why do most people tend to share very similar experiences about near-death situation? Most say they saw God, heaven, etc. They actually don't. But one explanation that comes to mind is that we all have brains, and our brains are similar. So when oxygen deprivation happens, our brains like if I take a drop of acid and I drop it on your skin, it'll burn, right? The wound will look similar to what the wound looks like on someone else's skin. And that's because you're both humans and you have similar bodies, and acid tends to react with the chemicals in your body in the much the same way. Similarly, the condition was acid, the object was skin. Now, the condition is oxygen deprivation, and the organ is brain. So, whenever oxygen deprivation happens, whenever a brain is going away, whenever a brain is losing consciousness in the way that the brain loses consciousness around death, similar things happen. That is why the experience is similar. Uh, this tunnel thing seems to be one of the things that happens when people are dying. Some people get there and are then brought back and they say, hey, I saw that thing. My religion must be true. It is also possible that the people who wrote the religious texts that described what happens at the end of life also had similar experiences back then. And that is why they wrote their mythological stories with that as the foundation. Amit says, Zia, I disagree. In Christianity, I don't think there is a harsh punishment for disbelievers by people, maybe by God in certain interpretations, but not by people. Okay. अभिनव says, सर क्या मैं गधा हूँ? मुझे नहीं पता अभिनव का आईने में देख लो यार मुझे क्यों पूछ रहे हो तुम गधे हो या नहीं हो ये मैं बताऊंगा Mrityunjay says, I was saying for complete chapter on it, you should see World of Antiquity YouTube channel where he made video on origin of Sanskrit. Okay. Hmm. Rajan says, are widows treated with respect or with disgust by Hindu scriptures? Well, you should look at the film called, what was it called? Fire. Yeah, by Deepa Mehta, about what is the prescribed method for widows to live after their husbands die. Mm. Varnali says, widows have been and are treated like trash in the Hindu religion. Arav says, theists claim to have felt the presence of God through their senses, but we demand external evidence. However, this external evidence is also perceived by our senses. So, how is it superior? Because you can verify it through multiple sources. The experiences that theists are describing cannot be verified through multiple sources. How would one theist, if a theist says, I saw God there, can I ask another person to say, look there and tell me if you see the same thing there? No, right? The difference between that and reality is that if I say there is a tree there, you can call someone else. You can either look at this and say, yeah, that looks like a tree, but maybe we are both wrong. Hey, third person, come here. Do you see a tree there? And he says, yeah, there's a tree there. And you say, what does it look like? The bark is brown, the leaves are green, it's this tall, and there are birds sitting on it. And then you say, oh, yeah, that's also what I see. Maybe there is a tree there. You see how that works? We accept reality that comes to us through our senses because we can verify it through the perspectives and accounts of multiple people who are like us. I made a video about this. It's on my main channel. Go watch it. Manish Kumar says, what do you think about the killing of Atif Ahmed? I'm sorry if this question was already asked. I think that a situation where killers can come and commit murder in front of police officers is definitely source of worry, and it should be investigated. And it's definitely a complete, it seems like a complete collapse of law and order. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. Dragoon says, even though Hinduism does not really support queer community, enough queer people are convinced at worst that it is supportive of it, if not apathetic about rising Hindu nationalism. Well, I don't really have anything to disagree with that. Rain says, what's so stupid in asking a question, you left or right? No, no, you didn't ask left or right. You asked left or rational. That was a stupid question. If you want to ask if I'm left or right, I'm left. Don't play games where you ask a certain question and I say it's a stupid question, and then you say, oh, but I was only asking this other thing. No, you weren't. Your chat is visible, it was on screen. Ankit says, Vimoh, do you think Atik Ahmed episode was justified giving people like him make a joke of law and order? No. I think the procedure matters. I think there is a reason we have trials. And if this is made the norm, then what is to stop someone from attacking innocent people in the future and saying they were guilty? The fact about whether someone is guilty or not is established by a trial. ये जो mob justice plus crime happening in front of police officer situation is, it's not fair. Encounter culture is not fair. Charvak says, any future guests? I'm sure we will have guests in the future, but I don't have any plans right now. I'll tell you guys whenever that becomes clear. Zia says, personal question, Vimoh, what are some activities, hobbies you enjoy aside from writing and reading? This is not really a personal question. It's okay to ask this. I like doodling, I suppose. Drawing is one of those things. And I like, actually, no, I only like reading and writing and doodling. I like making things. In a very broad sense, I like making things. I hope that helps. I I try to make something every day, if that makes sense. Hmm. Apurv says, Rain, you asked left or rationalist, which implies that you can only select one. Yeah, that was the problem. Thank you, Apurv. Isha says, INC was doing all this earlier too. People are more aware of it now because of social media getting aggressive. Thanks to Supriya Srine, Jairam Ramesh, Pawan Kheda taking charge. No, no, they weren't. I have been watching the Congress for quite some time until a couple of years ago. I'll tell you what was happening around the CAA protests. I really wanted the Congress to come on the ground and join the protest and be part of it. Towards the farmers' protest, they did start doing it a little bit, but the Bharat Jodo Yatra and the Congress from afterwards is a completely different beast. They were doing a little bit of it, but nothing compared to the muscular nature of their position against the BJP and RSS right now. Charwak says Pulwama Adani is enough that Modi is voted out. More importantly, removal of secularism and evolution. Hmm. Uh, Krishna says, imagine saying I was employable on your deathbed. Yeah. दादाजी आपने क्या किया अपने लाइफ में कुछ नहीं बेटा बट आई वाज एम्प्लॉयबल. Surya says, Vimoh, have you tried Perplexity AI yet? It's an LLM that cites sources for its answers. No, but actually Bing also does that. By the way, curious thing. In order to share my AI art, I used a bunch of platforms and I used Behance and I got a paid membership of Behance for some time. Along with it, I got free Photoshop, not free, but that membership included Photoshop and Acrobat. Now, whenever I open a PDF, I see Bing on the side and I asked Bing, like I got a 35, 40 page bank statement and there is Bing on the side and I asked it questions like what was the highest expense made, and Bing says, are you talking about this document? And I'm like, yes. And it tells me if it's a graph or a table, I am not very good at processing those, so I can just talk to Bing about the details in a PDF file and it will tell it to me in human language, which is fascinating. Rain says, okay, I'll ask again. Where do you lie on the political spectrum? That's what I wanted to ask. I already told you. Left. Newski says, uh, Periyar is a controversial character and I don't think in North India people know much about him. And if my classmates know about him, as I stick his sketch, do you think it's okay? Stick his sketch? What do you mean by stick his sketch? I mean, you should definitely spread more awareness about Periyar's thoughts, but I don't know what you mean by stick his sketch. Mm. K says the political spectrum is a reductionist understanding of politics. The political spectrum, as in left to right, one straight line, is reductionist, but a spectrum does not always mean a straight line. It's more like a chessboard, right? So, if that is what someone means by the political spectrum, then I think it's not as reductive as left versus right. Apeksha says, have you watched One Punch Man? Did you like it? I have seen some episodes of it. It's not my cup of tea. And I don't hate it, but it's not my cup of tea. I like more sincere stuff like Naruto. Sarthak says, I don't think Modi BJP will get out of power till at least 20 years. Thinking of leaving country, opinion. I do think Modi or BJP will get out of power in 2024. I am not thinking of leaving the country. That's my opinion. Arab says, by chanting Hare Krishna, ISKCONians report very deep levels of peace and it use it as proof of God. How true is this? Also, is it bad for atheists as they have no access to this peace and happiness? Plenty of atheists have plenty of peace and happiness in their life without chanting anything. And by the way, if you chant Barbie and Ken Amar Rahe 24,000 times in a week, you'll also gain similar results. It's not about the word that you're speaking, it's about your brain going into a trance state because you are sort of hypnotizing yourself. There is research on this. Dragoon says Newski North Indians will despise Periyar because he antagonized Ram to an extent not even staunch leftists today are scared of. They are co-opting him instead of fighting him. Yeah, yeah. This co-opting has happened in the past also. This co-opting has happened with Vivekananda with respect to left and related politicians, and it keeps happening. Like someone will be a pariah, and then it will become very difficult to ignore them, so they will start getting co-opted. Lakshya says, my father told me that Hinduism has a concept called Shastrarth, debate on scriptures. That's a truly great practice which no one talks about. No, people talk about it. Most famously, I remember the story of Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra was supposedly a great debater who entered a Shastrarth. My point is not that there are not stories about it. My point is that at what point of time in the past did you see Dalit Bahujan Adivasis having Shastrarths with Brahmins? Why are my neighbors shouting? Charvak says profit driven surplus is itself the root cause of the problem. Yeah, capitalism. Rain says there's like 100 blocks on the political spectrum, both horizontally and on vertically. I'm not sure if you're having anything other than those. Yeah, so that's why I said it's a chessboard. Newski says, I think caste census is important. When we had political science lecture, teacher criticized caste census. Students just know what teacher teach. They don't put effort to know what society is. Yeah, that's because our education system is based on exam results as the goal, not actual understanding. Krishna says, Pulwama and Adani, self-censorship of media and India's collective dementia will pardon those issues. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Sudarshan says, according to you, what changes should be brought in Indian education system? I think Indian education system needs to become less exam and certificate centric and more understanding centric. Children should be less stressed about the big exam at the end of the year, and their capacities should be evaluated more readily on the basis of classroom performance and projects, etc. And lastly, I think children should be allowed to have more freedom in choice of subjects earlier in life. Not everyone needs to study algorithms till the 10th standard. If you ask a bunch of students after standard 5 whether they want to continue with mathematics or not as their majors, then I'm sure plenty of students will go towards sports or arts. But that is not done. सबको 10th स्टैंडर्ड तक मैथमेटिक्स के साथ कुश्ती लड़नी पड़ती है. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि मैथ्स पढ़ना बंद कर दो. मैं कहता हूँ कि मैथ्स को वो सब्जेक्ट ना रहने दो जिसके बेसिस पे उनके मेरिट को इवैल्यूएट किया जाए. फिफ्थ के बाद लेट चिल्ड लाइक कॉलेज में जैसे सब्जेक्ट्स का चॉइस होता है ना, आई थिंक दैट शुड मूव टू फिफ्थ स्टैंडर्ड. Children can still go for mathematics as a side subject where they can study it without stress. And if they at some point of time want to change their major in sixth or seventh standard, they can say, yeah, so when I was in fifth standard, I thought maths was not my cup of tea, but I have been doing some math recently and I kind of like it. So I would like to make math my major subject again. And this subject that I chose as my major can go to be a minor again. Let there be a more modular system whereby children can make decisions about their own life. Don't put kids in prisons and then force them to do things that they're force them to fulfill dreams that their parents could not fulfill when they were younger. It's an ongoing system of torture that keeps going on and on and on. Vairu says, Arav, the happiness is something they have convinced themselves about. In other words, delusion. Um, Vipul says, I really love and appreciate your work. Heart. Thanks, Vipul. Much appreciated. K says, Rain, the 100 blocks is exactly why it is reductionist and inaccurate understanding of politics. I study politics. Yeah, I won't say there is 100 blocks. There are probably more. And there are probably combinations of position. Like, चेस बोर्ड पे तुम यहाँ का एक बॉक्स चूज करोगे तो तुम्हारे रिलेटेड पोजिशन उसके आसपास के हो सकते हैं. But it doesn't take into account the possibility that someone can have this block and this block on the other end. So it's reductionist in that sense, I suppose. That's what K means, I think. Bernali says, can good, bad, wise virtue be defined as something that is helpful for our survival? Is good virtue something that is harmful for our survival or destructive to our survival? Is bad wise? I don't know what that means. I think I asked this question last time also. I think order in society is helpful for the survival of societies. However, order can be maintained in some toxic ways also. So, ideally, the direction that we should aspire to is that the definition of good increasingly becomes more kindness towards more creatures and less exclusion of people on the basis of imagined categories that have existed since the beginning of civilization. Because back then, we did not know what else to do with people. The categories we made were like uh, bright skinned, dark skinned, or tall, short, or male, female. We are at a position and time when we don't need to rely on those categories. We are still going to have categories, but those categories don't have to be set in stone. And the foundational principle of human beings treating each other, behaving, of foundational principles behind how human beings treat each other should be kindness and acceptance. Dragoon says, saw a comment from a queer person criticizing LGBTQ plus movement in India, saying that it is too westernized because apparently it criticizes Hinduism and Brahmanism. Yeah, दिग्भ्रमित लोगों की कमी नहीं है दुनिया में. This person would seem to be one of them. Apurv says Latvian and Sanskrit are very similar. Does that not show evidence for Aryan migration, even though we also have genetic evidence already? Okay, I don't know about this. I will refrain from commenting on it. Apurv says Latvian gods are also similar to Vedic. Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I do know that there is similarity between Irish mythology of old with the four yuga system in Hindu mythology. It's fascinating. Dragon says Newski, North Indians will despise Periyar because he antagonized Ram. Okay, already saw that. Um, right, so we are at the 55-minute mark. I'll skip a few comments so I can pick up some interesting ones. And at 1 hour mark, we will end today's live stream. Um, Optimistic Nihilist says, what surprises me is many atheists also claim they see God in near-death experience and they convert after that. I told you, it's a brain chemistry matter, most probably. Mrityunjay says, do you think if Congress came to power in 2024, it will be able to handle the country in a better way since in the states where Congress is present have not shown good economic development? States in where BJP is present have shown better economic development. I am to at this point, I'll be totally honest with you people. And I'll say that economic development is not one of the criteria on the basis of which I am going to judge the success of a government. It is going to be maintaining harmony in society. And the BJP has failed miserably on that front. And in fact, it is openly creating more divisions. So, yeah, sure. Whoever promises to bring harmony into society, I will support them. Rajam says, is polygamy legal within Hinduism? Looking at Dharma Shastras. I don't know. I mean, I do know Hindu gods who had 16,000 wives. So, what do you think? Rain says, well, you don't sound like a right guy. So I put in if you may be a rational guy. The answer wasn't the question, so you could have just answered. The problem with your question was that you said left or rational, as if being left and rational at the same time is not possible. Newski says, do you have a pet or plan to have one? Just normal chat. What? No, I don't have a pet. Sarthak says, who do you think is your favorite intellectual? My favorite intellectual. I can't put my finger on one. No, I can't. Rajam says, Charvak, how does Gita promote mob? Yeah, this is a conversation between them. They can have it. Uttam says, you can collab with Pale Blue Thoughts YouTube channel. Yeah. I'm planning to. At some point of time, that will happen. K says, Rain, no political theorist takes it seriously. It works for a surface level understanding of politics. In reality, the quadrant is nowhere representative of politics. Surya says, Mindhunter was very eye opening in highlighting the need for a psychological research unit for studying the pathology of people that commit extreme crimes. Do most Indian states have such units? I don't know. I think Taranga will be a better person to answer this. Sarcastic skeptic says, has democracy become a problem, as Socrates once said, because we live in a population with a Bhakt majority? Democracy can become a problem. That is why in modern democracies, we also value a free press and an educated population. If the population is educated, if the population understands what matters and what does not, and if the population is informed correctly by a free and independent media, then democracy works. If it is not, then it becomes mob. A mob-like system of governance. Vairu says, Apurva, there is a video on the Proto-Indo-European creation myth by a channel called Crackgen Ford. You may find it interesting. Okay. SD Prajwal says, I had recently watched a video debating with a guy named F about caste system, and he was asked if there is any proof in scriptures regarding discrimination based on caste, and it is Manusmriti. Sarcastic skeptic says, okay, already answered that. Do we have any other option other than educating people around being hopeful? Yeah, we see the point is when people think of democracy as only the majority making a decision, it's only part of the picture. The majority making an educated decision guided towards the benefit of most people of the nation is what democracy should be seen as. And for that, a free and independent and objective media is necessary. And it is also necessary for the population to be educated. Isha says, Vimo, regarding INC, I agree with you. By earlier, I meant around 21, 22, before those three people took charge and Bharat Jodo. Yeah, yeah. No, before that, I agree. After Bharat Jodo Yatra is a very different party. Very different party. Rajam says, Prajwal, can you give me some verses of discrimination against lower caste? Just asking so I can use them against Hindus when I get a debate regarding caste. Rajam, I told you last time also, read the Bhagavad Gita. There is no better thing than primary sources. Don't read don't read WhatsApp forwards. Don't read PDFs downloaded from the internet from suspicious sources. Read the actual Bhagavad Gita and you will find plenty of material. Charvak says, biggest concern for me, so-called educated, literate people keep silent and mum and even support the syllabus changes spine chilling. These would be mostly people who are professionally software engineers or engineers of some sort, right? Because these were the same people who did not pay any attention to civics and history education in school. So, sarcastic skeptic. Do we have any other option than educating people around us or being helpful? Okay, already answered that. Hey, Taranga is here. Ha ha ha. Barbie and Ken amar rahe. Mrityunjay says, right wing always ignores casteism, which shows they love their religion more than the people who follow the religion. Yeah. Like right, skipping. एक घंटा हो गया. लाइव स्ट्रीम खत्म करने का टाइम आ गया. Skipping a few comments. Krishna says, Vimo, Meghnad and Akash Banerjee would be a creator alliance. I don't know Akash Banerjee personally. I do know Meghnad. He has appeared on this show multiple times. If Akash ever comes, then sure, we will talk. And that's about it. Megha says, are you a vegetarian? No, I'm not. I consume eggs and milk. Yeah, that's it. That's the extent of my animal product consumption. But for the last several months, I have been eating salad for lunch, and I have stopped eating all food from outside, like तेल मसाले वाला सब कुछ. मुझे पेट घटाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. So yeah, my diet has been moving towards a more vegetarian strain of some sort, but I'm not vegan. I do consume milk and I do eat eggs. So that's it, I guess. Sridhar Lohar says most religions have male prophets or gods. Even feminists defend their religions. Consider it as blasphemous. Religions and patriarchal society are very interdependent. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Patriarchy feeds religion. Religion feeds patriarchy. एक दूसरे को खिला खिला के ये लोग बड़े हो रहे हैं. But yeah, I think that is the end of this episode. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm sorry for the delay. Oh yeah, I did start 5 minutes late, but I मुझे खाना खाना है अभी जाके. And I'll see you guys. The next time I'll see you will be on Saturday at 8 p.m. when we may take calls. I'm thinking मैं सारे episode ऐसे ही करता हूँ यार. I'll just read comments. I cover so much more ground like this, no? Let me know what you guys think. Like, should I is it better if I have callers like we talk face to face on the podcast, or is it better if I just read comments and answer? Because I feel like I cover a lot more ground when I'm just doing this. So let me know. And yeah, that's it. And I'll just remind everyone that if you want to buy merch, you can do so at kadakmerch.com/vimolive. There are t-shirts and stuff. If you want to support the channel on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/vimo. And if you want to make a one-time contribution, just go to my blog at vimo.stck.me. You'll find all the links in the description of this video also. vimo.stck.me पे जाके support button पे click करने से you can make a one-time contribution. I'm an independent content creator. You are basically the sponsors of this program, this channel, and all my other content. So whatever contribution you make will help me buy books, buy software, and pay my electricity bill and my internet bill and my other bills. So thanks in advance. And I will take your leave now. First thing to do is to stop the ticker, and the second thing to do is to play some music as we go away. Bye bye. Good night.